So the game started with French defense, and white took the pawn. So this is exchange variation, and bishop d3. Yeah, this is a very good move. And with divided bishop, we are controlling this diagonal. And black divided knight f3, and c5. So black plays c5 to offer exchange with the center pawn. So here actually white have, I think, two like options. One is take that, taking that, but the dark square bishop will be developed to a very good square, and we exchange our center pawn with a c pawn. That's not worth it. And another thing is, if we don't take the pawn, we need to calculate what if the c5 pawn, like being pushed to c4. So in that scenario, we need to place our bishop maybe back to e2. So is e2 a good square for the bishop? Well, if I will play as white, I will play c3. And this move have two purposes. One is support d4. Another thing is once the pawn pushed to c4, we can retreat bishop to c2. And compare with e2 and c2, I think c2 is better for the bishop because it can control many more squares than being at e2. So if we castle, so let's see. So during this game, white played bishop e3, and I think after c4 we have to move the bishop to e2. And as I said, the e2 square is less as good as c2. And another alternative is because black didn't divide the bishop, so the downside of c5 is it would make the castling slower than, for example, moving bishop to d6. So in this case, probably instead of c3, we can also castle to make our king safe first, and then attack the black king afterwards. So if black play c4, we can check the king, and bishop e7, then we can move the bishop at f1. So even though bishop at f1 for now, it only controls two squares, but later we can move the bishop to g2. And also the light square bishop will not be blocking our rook. So that's how we can handle this uh, position positioning of pieces. So this is something also we can consider. And as I said, we can control the e5 before black move the rook to e8. So there are two approaches I would consider. So in this game, we play bishop e3, c4, bishop e2. Yeah, and bishop to d6. Black has a very good square for the bishop at d6 instead of e7. So this bishop is really strong, and black turned to be slightly better than white. At knight c3, considering placing the beat one knight, first of all, I will castle first, and if I have to think about moving the knight, I will move it to d2 and probably c3, because in this case I can connect the pawns. And knight to c3, there's another problem, is it's very clear that black will attack our queen side, because black has a lot more space than us at the queen side. And how will black set up a plan on the queen side? Most likely black will push the b pawn. We need to push the pawns to open files and expand the space. So the problem with knight c3 is once the pawn pushed to b5 and b4, the pawn will kick our knight, and then we have to place knight again. And I don't see very clear squares for the knight, and the e2 square is blocked by bishop. These two squares are controlled by black pieces. a4 is not a good option, it's at the edge of the board. So my comment is I will castle first and later move knight to d2. And how will I place the knight? Probably I will move the rook to e1 and then maneuver the knight to the king side. Because as I said, black has much more space than us at the queen side. So I would attack on the king side if I play as white. So knight c3, castle, castle, and knight c6. And we play bishop g5, and that's good. We pin in the knight, and this is how we attack the center. This is good. Bishop e6. Well, I think bishop e6, I think there is some opportunity in the center here. That is these two pieces. Do you feel there's some opportunity here? Um, Actually, I think the best move for white is bishop c4. And this is the way white can destroy the center structure, this pawn structure, uh, by pushing upon the d5. And we can take the bishop or the knight. So the important thing for white is it can destroy the center structure. So bishop to d7 probably. We can take the knight. So rook e1. Yeah, so I think the position, the game was turned into equalized again. So black has like pair bishop. This is a good thing. We have bishop pinning the knight, and also we control the e file. So yeah, so it's equalized. But I think I think both sides don't realize this bishop c4. So white played knight b5. So the problem with this move is, I think the intention, first of all, is very clear. It's very obvious. So usually a move with clear intention is easy to deal with. White is going to exchange with dark square bishop. The purpose makes sense to me, but the thing is black can solve that very well. So for example, bishop to b8 or bishop to e7, and later black can push the pawn to a6 and b5. And as I said, I think most of the players, if they play black, they will attack the queen side. So a6 and b5 are something black is planning to do. So this knight b5 actually make this a6 and b5 quicker, because a6 can kick our knight. So we need to move our knight back and forth between b5 and c3. So this actually makes us slow in the middle game. Bishop to b8. I think this is great. We still control this diagonal. And b3, a6, knight to c, b5. Yeah, this is good. So we don't rush exchanging the pawns, but like pushing more pawns to make this solid. And so white take the pawn. I think white has to, otherwise b4, the knight has to go to b1 and then to c3. The knight is stuck at the queen side. So take. Yeah, taking up with the b pawn is a really good idea. And if take with the d pawn, I feel like the d5 is a problem, and white is forking. White is winning material. So taking over the b pawn is a good idea. Rook b1, controlling the open file. Bishop a7, attack d4. But I would maybe think about a way to, yeah, maybe I will push h6 to kick the bishop. And the reason is, first of all, the bishop is annoying, pinning out knight, and another thing is maybe we can solve the background problem for the future. But bishop a7, there's no problem with that. And knight a4, h6, yeah, it's good. Bishop back to e3, and queen to a5. Divide the queen. Attack the knight. Knight c5. Well, my knight c5 is the only move to save knight, I think. c3, can we protect knight from this way? But knight e4, the c3 pawn is under attack. So knight c5, and we take the knight. So is this a good trade? I'm not sure. I think the knight could take our bishop, but if we take this knight, we will lose a dark square bishop. So if we consider this two bishop, I would say the a7 bishop is more powerful because it aims at this d4 weakness. This e6 is a little bit passive. And on the other hand, the c5 knight is, I think it's a good space, great space, at a great space. So maybe the knight can attack our queen. So trading with the knight is okay, I think. But maybe I'm thinking, can we play knight e4 now? Because if you take my knight, I can attack your f3. Yeah, never mind. This pawn structure will be like broken after the trading. So I take a knight e5. The knight e4, we're attacking the pawn. Rook b6. Knight e7. So now I think white is going to protect c5. So I think, so if we look at the time control, so the game starts with 80 minutes, right? So I think both sides have spent maybe less than 10 minutes. So this is move 90. So I think we still have plenty of time on the clock. So in this position, we need to think about moves like carefully, because this is very critical. If we lose the pawn, I think our opponent has a way better position than us. But how can we deal with that? And then also black is threatening knight c3, right? It's annoying, so that's why maybe we move the rook. So can we play knight d4? The thing is, we are attacking the hanging knight. If knight take our knight, we can take it with a queen. Because black doesn't have dark square bishop, so our queen at d4 is really safe. We can protect the pawn, and we can control a lot of spaces. In knight c3, we need to worry about this fork. Maybe we can move the queen back to d2. It cannot take my rook, the queen is hanging. It take my bishop, that's a child, I can take that, and I think the pawn is safe. I mean, the pawn structure, regarding pawn structure, I think black's better, but at least we have same number of pawns, and also this passed pawn could sometime become a weapon. So yeah, so this is a position we need to spend our time to think about carefully. So if knight c3, what about this move? I think we can take the knight. If knight take our rook, we can take the queen. If we take our queen, we can take this one. And we want material. Knight c3, rook to e1. So yeah, but probably black will move the queen to c7, attack the knight, attack the queen. And we cannot move queen to d4 because we lose knight e2, that's a fork. Like this, take the queen. And rook b6, we have pair bishop. Yeah, I mean, if you turn on an engine, it's close to equal. Black is slightly better. I think white has very good reason to attack d5, and also white has pair bishop, so maybe it's still still okay to play. So rook b8, knight e7. Okay, I think I find a way. We can move the queen to e1 to offer a trade. Yeah, I think it took white a while to think about the best move. And actually the best move turned out to be queen e1. It's not easy to find. So we offer a trade. If you take the pawn, I will take your queen. If you take my queen, I can take that. And also the bishop is still protecting the pawn. Yeah, queen e1 can save the queen. But black could play c3. And I think the c5 pawn is a problem sooner or later. But yeah, I think queen 1 is okay move for now. The problem with king d4, queen d4 is black has this really hurting move, and we will lose a pawn. And also the knight is kicking our queen, and also we will have this weakness at e3, and this is a problem. And I think black is has built up a huge advantage. Rook e8. So what about knight c3? We can first of all attack the bishop. If we take the bishop, knight take, and then we can win e3. And also there is a fork. Yeah, knight c3 is great. Rook c8. You can take the bishop. If you take, I take the rook. Yeah, knight c3 is better. And rook e6. Rook c, queen a7. So the queen is still targeting at this diagonal. This is good. So I think white has to deal with this diagonal because the e3 pawn and king are all at this diagonal. So queen b6 offering a queen trade. That's good to remove this queen off the board. We play rook f3 to protect the pawn. It's passive. Instead of protected pawn, I think offering a trade with the attacker is a better choice. Yeah, bishop g4, that's a good move. And I think after losing the bishop, the pawn is losing, and this is a fork. I think black is winning. a5, yeah. So queen b1, knight d2. So white is sacrificing pieces, and black deal with that well. Queen h8, king h8 is good. King h7, there's a rook b7. Okay, so yeah, that's a checkmate. Cool. That's it.